Hey YouTube, this is Kaiser. I'm going to do a deck profile today on my Dimension Police reverse Breakride. So yeah, get started right away with our starting Vanguard Magnum. I choose to use him as my choice for a Vanguard starter because I feel like he's more stable than your other options. Your other options, as far as I'm concerned, are you can search for grade 3, or you can play Goyusha, the card where you -3 yourself to do a superior ride. I don't like that card as a choice over this because, yes, you can do a superior ride, like get yourself out of a misride. However, that -3, that might not be worth it. And most games, I don't plan on misriding anyway, so the rest of those games, the card's just going to be a vanilla. Whereas this guy, I can actually utilize his effect. Same thing with the grade 3 searcher. It might fail. So, yeah, it could fail. It's only a 4K booster, so it's not going to boost as effectively as this guy can. I like to choose this guy as the starter because of his 5K boost. And then not every game you get to choose to use it, but you can utilize his effect to give that +4 and push a little bit more at your discretion. So yes, that's why I like this card. On to the triggers. We got our 4 Dimension Police crit, followed by 3 regular crit for a total of 7. 4 Dimension Police draw and 1 regular draw. So I'm doing a ratio of 7 to 5. I like to have the extra draw power for this deck to help get me into drawing like grade 3, so I can Breakride a Kaiser over a Kaiser and continue with card advantage. And when I do break rides and hit with crits and my opponent guards to protect themselves, I like hitting draw triggers. Even though the attack couldn't hit, at least I get to get something off of that trigger. However, when you're playing reverse, where you're going to be powering down your opponent, hitting hard when they're weak and hitting crits goes a long way as well. So I like that ratio, as well as our last 4 Dimension Police heal triggers. For our grade 1 lineup, we're playing 4 Die Brave. This card is an excellent turn 1 ride. You can Soul Blast it, and then during that turn, if it hits, if your Vanguard's attack ends up hitting, you can Soul Blast, and then you can draw a card. So you can't really utilize this card until you get to like turn 3, like when you're a grade 3. However, it's very good. Other than being a 7K base, where it's a good booster, when you get to that turn 3, your opponent's probably not going to really want to block your Vanguard on turn 3, most likely. So this card will either give you a +1 when you utilize its effect, or it will force the opponent to take a risk of a 1 to pass, or you can make them guard heavily when they wouldn't have wanted to and take that minus early on. So I really like this card. Next we have our 4 Dimension Police, or Dimensional Robo, I mean. Perfect guards, Die Shield. Not much to say about that. It's a perfect guard. Then we have our 4 Die Tigers, our typical and pretty much standard in Archetype decks, 10K attacking grade 1. Yeah, not much to say. These things are long time proven staple in Archetype decks. They can hit for 10 or they can boost for 7. In our last card we have 2 Die Lander. He's kind of weak, but he can give 4K out anywhere you want in the field. And I really like using that in a couple of ways. Using it on a broke-ridden Die Kaiser to hit that like 31 mark, or to give it to like a 12K attacker so that he'll be a 16 by himself, and then you can lock this card with your Dayusha. So that Vanguard's still swinging 16 at their if they're an 11, you're swinging 16 now at their 1K, so that requires a 20 guard. Yeah. On to our grade 2s. We got 4 of our 10k vanilla drill fighter, or die fighter, I should say. Yeah, just a 10k vanilla. It has a solid number. It's a great Vanguard ride. It's defensive, and there's not much to say about 10Ks other than just that they're a solid number. Then we have our 4 12k attackers. Yeah, swings for good numbers, can hit at 11s unboosted, and as I said, in relation to like cards that can give him +4, that makes him a 16 by himself. So that's already requiring an 11k to 10 guard. And then our last grade 2, we have 3 die driller. When you play, he's low on power, but when you play him, counterblast 1 and give somebody +4. Just like the die lander, you can use it in that way you like. You can even, and because he's weak, you don't really have to care. You could end up blocking him with your Dayusha and just have 1 strong Vanguard column, 1 strong rearguard column, or what have you. So. And then under our grade 3s, we have our 4 Breakride, Kaiser. This card is really good. I would say it's one of the better Breakrides in the game. It really forces your opponent to minus heavily by guarding like a lot more. Like I don't think I see many cards in the game that makes people guard as heavily as this card does. And you can make your opponent guard really heavily even though they're at 3 damage, because they have to worry about you hitting a crit off your drive check and a grade 3. Like even when the other player has to guard against this card, they seriously, even if they guard 2 to pass, hit 1 grade 3 and that's it. You can hit if they guard like no pass, that's actually meaning if I hit you with a grade 3 and a trigger, it's gonna hit. So yeah, very intimidating card. And then our second grade 3, we have our 4 reverse Dayusha. In this build, it works very well. You can do your Breakride, and then you can hit, and then -10 your opponent, swing for that massive number. That's going to be hard to block, not to mention your opponent being -10. So it puts a huge pressure on that one turn. And then even after that, for just counterblast 1, you can keep utilizing him and keep minusing 10 your opponent and hitting them hard and hitting them hard and hitting them hard. One thing I wanted to mention in relation to this deck, one card that would, in theory, be fantastic to play with Dayusha reverse would be Commander Laurel. I really wanted to play him, but keep in mind when you lock 2 cards, and you want to have you're not going to have those 4 rear guards so that you can stand him. That would be fantastic, but not meant to be. So that's it for my reverse Breakride profile. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out the other profiles.